Hey y'all, how's everybody doing today? What am I possibly doing? I'm on here today to tell you about the Q&A workshop coming up on March the 8th at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. What am I doing today? I got a bowl. I'm actually making my sourdough right now. And this is so impromptu. And as it says in the title, today and today only, because it is $75 to attend the workshop. Okay? It's $75 to attend the workshop. But if you purchase today, you can bring a friend and you'll only pay the 75. So it's a 2 for 1. Um, yeah, that's that's today. Don't mind my hair wrap. It was wash day, and so I'm still letting it dry. But I was feeling for some sourdough bread, and I already had my ingredients measured out. So um, I'm just adding my. What did I do? Well, here's my ingredients. I used Preppy Kitchen. I like him, and I found that his recipe was really helpful. So I'm on his website right now getting the recipe. So I already measured out 310 grams of filtered warm water. That's what I did. And then 120 grams of my sourdough starter. And I've already got my flour, 500 grams. I measured it out in 250 grams because I had small containers. So I've already put in 250 grams. I'm going to put in the other 250 grams of flour and 16 grams of fine sea salt. That's what I did. So the whole purpose, because like I said, I was feeling to have some sourdough bread, and this is why I'm here making it right now. But I wanted to tell you about, hi Rahul, I wanted to tell you guys about the workshop coming up about on March the 8th, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so if you purchase your ticket today at the link below in this video, it'll be 2 for 1. So that's what I'm doing today. Um, I'm not going to stay very long because I'm going to have to turn this out. What a thing to say. I'm going to have to turn my dough out. My goodness. But part of what that workshop is about. Thank you, Sanju. Um, Part of what the workshop is about, it has a lot to do with the fact that um, we all have a particular pattern that we live by and we do things to. And sometimes it's a little bit challenging to, um, thank you, Rahul. Sometimes it's a little bit challenging to see what your pattern is. And so the reason why it just happens to work out this way with the sourdough bread, um, it just happens to work itself out. But sourdough has a pattern. You see, we think that the principle of rhythm is somehow woo woo and whatever the case may be. But if you make sourdough, sourdough has a particular way it looks, a particular way it tastes. You know, it has the airy bubbles on the inside once you bake it. You can bake it in your Dutch oven, uh, but it has a very specific way, right? Hello, Michelle. Nice to see you. So the principle of rhythm is not just for your sourdough. Like my chicken, Lady. Lady has laid um Lady has laid 11 eggs so far. And she will lay her egg in the same place every time. She puts herself to bed at about 5. um 18 p.m. every night on the same stairs. You see, so everything in our life is a rhythm, is a pattern. And so part of what the upcoming workshop on March the 8th will show you is where your rhythm is. Okay? That's what it will begin to show you. Where is your rhythm? What are you doing? Because we're going to do a rhythm anyway, because that is our nature. So, because it is our nature to do a rhythm, well, to hack the system, learn how to do your own rhythm that you deliberately chose. Oh, Lordy. He says, normally I don't bake in front of people, but I do love to bake. And sourdough is one of my favorite things to bake, but I'm a novice at sourdough. But I just think it fit well with the rhythm, with the principle of rhythm. Yeah. So I think my dough is kind of shaggy, like they say it should be, right? Kind of shaggy. Um, he says very shaggy, but most of the flour is mixed in. Cover with a damp kitchen towel and let it sit for an hour. So I'm not going to work it too much more than that. I'm not going to work it any more than that. But now I have to cover it over. So clearly, your girl didn't plan for this. I don't normally bake with people in my space, right? I don't. But I trust that it makes sense a little bit about rhythm, yeah? Plastic wrap and let sit for an hour. Because I'm also doing the laundry. Rather domesticated, I would say, but who's thinking, right? Um, but that's what I wanted to come on here and tell you really quickly about the workshop coming up. Sanju, you're cracking me up. But thank you all for being here. I will go, I usually go live every Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And my evening ones are going to be changing, so stay tuned for that. But again, there's a workshop coming up March the 8th. It's a Q&A workshop where we will be talking about the principles, but not just talking about them. It's a Q&A for a reason. If you say, oh my God, I've been trying to do this for blah, blah, blah for so long, I'll show you what your hidden rhythm is and how to change that hidden rhythm, tools that you can use. So it's a group coaching. So go through all your thoughts and figure out what question you need help with the most, what thing you need help with the most, and bring that question on March the 8th. If you're not going to be there March the 8th, I will still answer your question, because then because it is $75 to attend. Okay. And here's the 2-for-1 today. Today only. If you pay the 75 today, bring a friend. So you get a 2-for-1. Okay? Because it's really important that we comprehend how to use the principles in our daily lives. And like I mentioned to you before, little lady, when she lays an egg, she goes to the same place every day. When she perches at night, she goes to the same place every night. You see, you and I, and even little lady, has a pattern. We have a rhythm. This is the principle of rhythm. We all have it. And so if we learn how to observe that rhythm in our lives, we'll be able to have flour all over me. We'll be able to better change our life, because now we are aware of what the pattern is, and then we can decide how you want to change the pattern. So that is the purpose of the workshop. So today, as I said, if you click on the link below in the description of this video and you go to my link tree, the very first link says harness the 7 laws. to transform your life. Click on that and you will pay $75 and it's 2 for 1. So you'll have to bring a friend. Anyone you think will be able to benefit from this Q&A workshop. Hello, John. Um, so yeah, so all I did today so far was start my sourdough. I'm letting it sit for an hour. So for me right now it's 1:40 p.m. and I'm going to let it sit for an hour. So 2:40 p.m. I'll come in and I will stretch it out, the dough. And of course I'll show it to you when I'm done baking it, but it takes about 9 hours. Sometimes longer. Sometimes it can take 12 to 18 hours. It just depends on where you put it and what your temperature is. And what is our temperature today? What's it saying here? It's 73 degrees Fahrenheit in my house. Oh my God, that's hot, right? I know, because I like it warm. Um, see, that's my pattern. That's my rhythm. I like it warm. And Rue is right there, my rooster. He's just sitting. He's so cute. He's just sitting right there. And Lady, she's sitting on the other side, a hen and a rooster. And so they're so cute. And they had a bath today. Because you are a barnyard animal, it does not mean you need to smell like a barnyard animal, okay? And they live indoors with me. So I bathed them today. And they're both doing great. Um, but that's what I wanted to share with you today. The upcoming workshop, you can message me if you so desire. Click on the link in the description in my link tree. You can purchase your ticket today and it's a 2 for 1. And that workshop is Q&A. It's a group coaching Q&A. You don't have to tell your life story. Heavens no. The question is, what do you want to become? Right? Because it is far easier to speak to a group than it is to do individuals, at least in my opinion. And because you get to cover much more ground and more people have more insight as to what their particular problem is. And the more people who listen to everybody else's process, they now get a better sense of how to apply it to themselves. And this is why I like the group setting. So anyhow, when the dough is here and it's rising, I'm gonna try and do something with my afro. I don't know what yet. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this afro today, but it's still wet, clearly. And so I will figure it out. Maybe some kind of an idea will hit me in my imagination because that's how we live, right? We live by way of our imagination. And so what you see in your imagination is what you will do. So perhaps I will get an idea in my imagination and I will style my hair according to the idea that I see in my mind's eye, you know? So maybe it'll come to me when I go downstairs to bring up the laundry, because that's what I'm doing too. I'm doing the laundry. It is Sunday after all. It is chore day. See? The principle of rhythm. I have a pattern. Every Sunday I do this thing. The only thing that broke pattern was me coming online today. I don't normally come online on Sundays. But anyway, one final time. If you see this video and you go in the description and you purchase your ticket today, I'm just doing it for one day, you will purchase your ticket for $75 and it's a 2 for 1, which means you bring a friend. Okay? So I look forward to seeing you on March the 8th for the Harnessing the 7 Laws Q&A. Bring your question. Here's the question. What do I want to become? Answer that question. And because I get people saying to me, but Angela, I've been trying to do this for years and nothing is changing. Come, bring that question and we're going to go through it and work it out and show you where you've been doing a particular pattern, thereby getting the same effects every single time. All right. So I look forward to seeing you. Okay. March the 8th, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's only 3 hours long. We can manage that, can't we? Anywho, I do love you and thank you all for being here. Okay. I'll see you soon. Bye. Oh, yeah. I just said bye. I just said bye and I saw your comment pop up. Um, welcome, dearie. Um, I was making sourdough as well. Well, it's sitting here, it's resting for an hour. So I'll come back and stretch it and work it out and see how it turns itself out. Because I'm not a pro with sourdough. I just enjoy the taste of sourdough and I'm getting better at sourdough. And the sourdough recipe, I'm actually going to um, copy that link and tag him. I go to Preppy Kitchen. I love his channel because he just gives such great explanations. And every time I try something from there, it always turns out. Like it really just does. The brownies were amazing, but it's the sourdough that I really like. I really enjoy his sourdough recipe. And so I'm making ginger beer today too. Well, not ginger beer as an alcoholic, but ginger ale. So the house smells divine. It just smells like ginger. But that's what I'm doing today. I'm gonna bottle that up tomorrow after I add my ginger bug to it. Some people make their ginger ale with carbonated water. I don't. I make a ginger bug and I keep my ginger bug in the fridge. Come, I'll show you my ginger bug, yes? I'll show you my ginger bug. Oh, I have some mushrooms. I'm gonna cook those up soon. But oh my goodness. Lord. It's so heavy, my ginger bug. Hold on. I don't even know how to turn my camera around because I'm not that kind of tech savvy girl. But ah, just don't fall, sweetness. Just don't fall. Here's my ginger bug. All it is minced ginger, organic ginger. Because the organic ginger is not sprayed, so it has naturally occurring yeast on it. And so um it is ginger, water, sugar. Those are the three things in here. So every time I take some of this out to make my ginger ale, I will mince up how much ginger I took out. If I took out a half a cup of ginger of the liquid, so I'll put back a half a cup of minced ginger, half a cup of sugar, and sometimes I'll put water back in there too because you need it, right? And the half a cup of water. And it will always, oh, I don't know how long I've had this baby. I've had this ginger bug. This is coming up on a year now. And my goodness, she's amazing. Because when you open it, you can hear it. It just effervesces naturally. And I really like it. So that's my ginger bug. And that's how I make my ginger ale. So I put it in the bottles and I let it sit on the counter for a couple of days and it ferments. But then um I have lion's mane mushrooms. I gotta cook those. Um with your ginger bug, what you do with it, once you put it in the bottles to ferment, you pop the bottle every day, same time every day. Oh my God, this is so amazing. Listen, I keep telling you, the principle of rhythm exists everywhere. The principle of cause and effect exists everywhere. When you feed ginger with sugar and water. The natural yeast feasts on that ginger, the yeast in there. Okay. And it makes it all bubbly, cause and effect. But that the same principle applies when you feed your ginger with sugar and water. That same principle of cause and effect, you can apply it to your own life. Like, this is what I'm trying to tell you. These principles may seem like they're far fetched and not really easy to understand. And I'm trying to tell you, these principles are there every single day. The longer I let that sourdough sit there and ferment, the yeast, because I don't use commercial yeast when I make sourdough bread. I don't, because this is why you can't use bleached flour either, because bleached flour doesn't have the yeast in it that is alive anymore. It's bleached. Okay. So, cause and effect. If you want a good sourdough, you have to go with an unbleached flour. You just do, because it will work for you, because it's alive. It's alive. It's alive, right? It's alive. Same with the ginger. So when I make, my son said to me, Mac, you make root beer? And I was like, I've never made root beer. So I looked up all the herbs required to make root beer, because they used to make root beer by fermenting the herbs, hello, and make it effervesce. But what happened is, well, factory. So now they make ginger ale. If you look at the back of ginger ale, you will see something called caramel color. Okay. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Whew, that is hot, girl. That is hot. Oh, I cut my finger while I was mincing the ginger. And so now it hurts. I don't know how to get you guys. Just don't drop my phone in it. But there it is. The ginger and water and sugar. It's already been boiled. And so now all I'm doing with it is having it sit there to cool. And it will cool. You have to cool it overnight. So you cannot have it warm. If you do, you're gonna kill the ginger bug. So you have to let it come to room temp. So this is my Sundays, right? My Sundays are spent. Hey Rue. Hi. I've got flour all over my hands, so I can't even pick you up. And lady's not gonna let me catch her to pick her up, so you know. Um, but this is what my Sundays are like. This is my pattern. This is my rhythm on Sundays. And I make the ginger ale, I make a sourdough, or sometimes I make cookies, or sometimes I make brownies. I'm getting into granola bars next, like making those things. Look, I just love to bake. My great grandfather had a baker shop. Let me say this slowly. My great grandfather was a master baker. Okay. And so my childhood memories of going to visit my mom were usually filled with the smell of fresh bread. And growing up in Barbados, we have jam puffs and turnovers and rock cake. And listen, a rock cake is meant to be had with tea. You dip it in your tea because it's like a rock, like, but it's so good. You dip it in the tea, and that's what softens it, right? So I grew up exposed to just baking things, and so that's why uh, I like to bake. I really do. My mom, like, my mom is freaking amazing at baking. Like, she really, really is. And I'm just like, wow, can I like totally learn how to do that? And here's the thing with the principles, right? How you apply them to your life. You know what my mother said to me? You got to keep making it and you'll get better at it. Keep making it. You know how You go to your grandma's house and she doesn't measure anything. She just seems to sprinkle it. Oh, a dash of this and a pinch of that and a dollop of this. And it just looks like she's not measuring. Don't get it twisted. She is, because she has memorized what a half a cup looks like. She's memorized what a teaspoon looks like, because you pinch it in your hand. You hold your hand in the same fashion and you pour the salt in your hand. When you look at it, you register what that pinch looks like. So even though it looks like she's not measuring, believe me, she's been doing it so much that she knows exactly what that portion looks like and feels like in the hand. So I know it looks like I'm sorry, like demystifying it, but it's principle. Because they've been doing it that way for so long, they've just subconsciously, they know what 2 tablespoons feels like. They know what that dough is supposed to feel like in their hands when they stretch it, like, because they've been doing it for so long, right? So the same principles apply. You want to change your life, you have to do the same thing the same way every time. This is how change occurs. People tell you change is the only constant thing. Yeah, exactly. Change is the only constant. And change will happen in the same way every time. Look at winter. Winter becomes spring the same way every time. What do you mean the same way? Blossoms. You know, my allergies, right? So the same principles that we see around us every day, we can mm, make them bite sized so that we can apply them to our daily lives. Okay? So that is what I am going to share with you more on March the 8th, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, when you come out to the Q&A live workshop. It is live, okay? You know me. I love the interaction with people, so we do it live. So you come and you ask your question. Angela, I've been doing this and nothing is changing. What have you been doing? And we'll show you where that habit and that pattern is, and show you how to change it, modify it, so you can change your life and gain more confidence and stop being so frustrated with life. Because it's not that we can't do it, it's that we are doing it every day. We just don't see it. So, anyway, if you click on the link is also in the chat, but the link is also in the description. Today, if you purchase your ticket today for 75, it'll be a 2 for 1, meaning you pay 75 today and you get to bring a friend for free. Okay? Because it's important to get these principles out so that people can change their lives. Because trust me, which one of us wants to struggle any more than we need to? I'll tell you something. I was making turnovers. My mother was on WhatsApp with me, walking me through, and I'd never made turnovers before. Turnovers is a Bajan delicacy, eh? And so the dough was, and I don't know how, because she's looking at the dough. She goes, the dough is hard. I'm like, I'm just going to throw it away and start again. She goes, do not throw away your dough. She says, just get a bowl with water and put the dough in the water for 5 minutes. And let me tell you something. That dough softened up and it became more pliable. Well, but Angela, you just put it in water. Yeah, but you softened up the gluten in the flour. All the fibers absorbed the moisture, thereby making it more pliable. Cause and effect. And I was so excited that I had done it, because at first I was disappointed in myself. I'm like, oh my God, I can't make these turnovers. And I was just really being a big baby. But she said, no, 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 don't throw it out. Take your time. So the same principle applies. We take our time with what we learn and apply. Anywho, I have nattered on enough. Now you know my sourdough is rising. 240 is when I take it, I start to stretch it. 240. I'm gonna go down and get the laundry. The ginger is cooling, and I will fold. Of course, I got to get all the flour off my hands first, but and once I fold all the laundry, then I'll figure out what to do with my hair because it's wet. Yeah. So, anywho, I look forward to seeing you on March the 8th, Saturday, March the 8th, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the live Q&A workshop to do what? Harness the 7 principles to transform your life. Peace out. And you buy your ticket today, it's a 2 for 1.